Hey guys, it's Juan here with the Rejuven channel, and today we are going to be going over my third day of fasting. Just a regular guy that wants to go over his experiences with what it's like to do fasting for the first time. So here we go. You know, yesterday was not a great day for me. I woke up feeling a little bit sluggish, and by noon, I mean, I was wiped out. So what I ended up doing was I went ahead and got myself a cup of coffee, black, with a little bit of cinnamon in it, and that seemed to boost me up a little bit. But by the time that I had picked up my son from school, took him to swimming, got back home around 6 o'clock, I really felt like I was out, especially after taking Jonathan out for a walk around that neighborhood. So what I ended up doing was I took some creatine along with some vitamin A, a couple of other vitamins and stuff, and just drank that with a bunch of water, and that seemed to help me get over that little hump that I had. Last night I did cheat a little bit. I had to go and, well, first of all, the whole day I had to prepare all of my son's meals because my wife was working yesterday, and so I did end up tasting a little bit of the food. Not much, a little square here and there. No more than maybe 50 calories or so. Nothing that I think would really affect the fasting. However, usually every Thursday, we go and we buy him a vegan cheese pizza over at Mellow Mushroom. But we don't like the new vegan cheese that they use. We like the Daya cheese. So, so we bring it to them. And while I was there waiting for the pizza, I did go ahead and have a vodka, a Tito's and Diet Coke, basically. And that's about, what, 63 calories. Body normally burns about 1 calorie per minute. So I paused my fat burning for an hour or so. This morning, also last night, I couldn't get to sleep. It was probably 1 o'clock in the morning by the time I got to sleep. Ended up taking some melatonin with B6 and some melatonin with L-theanine, and that combination seemed to get me to La La Land. So this morning, I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning and wide awake the moment that I woke up. Usually I'm a little bit sluggish when I wake up in the morning. Not this morning. This morning I woke up, boom, ready to go. I couldn't believe how wide awake I felt, especially considering that, you know, I'm going on my third day now without having a single meal, you know. So it's funny though, because just before going ahead and having that vodka and Diet Coke, I was watching a YouTube video on the effects of alcohol on fasting, and so I'm watching this video of this guy. I think he makes a video called Six Pack Abs or something like that. You know, the guy's got like an absolutely perfect body, obviously does like everything perfect, and he's like, well, I can't imagine why someone would want to have some alcohol in the middle of their fast. You know, I mean, sorry, Mr. Perfect, but not all of us are Mr. Perfect. You know, some of us are recovering alcoholics. So, whatever. But yeah, feeling pretty good today. This morning, you know, I figured since I'm going to go driving for Lyft for a little bit and then go and see a customer for my computer business, I decided, you know what, I really need to be at the top of my game today, and I don't want to take any chances. So I did go ahead and mix myself up a little bit of a shake with some BCAAs, about 30 calories, about 20 milligrams of creatine, to make sure that my ATP energy levels are up there. A few vitamins and stuff along with that. So I put a list of the vitamins that I took down in the description. But so far everything's going fantastic. Everything's going pretty good. You know, it still amazes me though the reaction that I get from people when I tell them that I'm going on a little fasting quest, you know, a little fasting test, and I mean the reactions that I get is just unbelievable. I mean, people think that I'm just gonna fall down dead, that I'm going to be deathly ill. You know, people just have such a poor understanding of how the human body works. And I guess that's probably the reason that we are in the state of the things that we are here in the United States, is because, let's face it, most people just don't understand good nutrition. It's one of the reasons why you take a look at some place like Okinawa in Japan, and over there, you know, people are living an average of about a decade longer. And not only do they live an average of about a decade longer, but they live an average of a decade longer with less chronic issues than we do. You know, there's so much less diabetes, so much less cancer, so much less prostate cancer, breast cancer, thyroid cancer. You know, all of these things that we're dealing with here in the United States. And a lot of it has to do with the bad food choices that we make, but even more has to do with the excessive levels of sugar and carbohydrates that we have in our diet these days. You know, this is something that I try to explain to people all the time. You've got to cut out that sugar, even if you don't do fasting. At least cut back the number of calories that you eat. I know that it's difficult. I mean, you walk into a Wendy's, a McDonald's, a Burger King, you walk into almost any place, even regular traditional restaurants, and you take a look at the calories that's involved in a lot of these meals. I mean, it's almost everything is 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 calories for a single meal. For lunch, you know, if somebody's eating 2,500 calories for lunch, 2,500 calories for dinner, it's no wonder that over half of all of America is just simply overweight. You have more of an issue in the United States with people dying from overeating than from malnutrition, than from undereating. And yet, the response that I get from people when I tell them that I'm doing fasting, oh my God, you're gonna kill yourself, you're gonna get sick, something's gonna go wrong. I mean, to me, it's just absolutely unbelievable. Yet, when they see a friend eating 2,500 calories, 3,000 calories a meal, do they go, oh my God, what are you doing? You're overeating. No, we don't do that. We don't chastise people for overeating, yet we chastise people for undereating. We chastise people for not eating enough. And I know that maybe some of this is hardwired, because 10,000 years ago, if you didn't eat enough, on those instances that you had food available, then maybe you would starve to death. You know, maybe if we live in South Sahara and we're not eating enough, yeah, there's a possibility that we could starve to death. But people, this is the United States. There's nobody here that doesn't have enough food. You know, I see these statistics where they're talking about how, oh, there's a certain number of people in the United States that go to bed without food, and yet I can't help but to think about looking at Katrina years ago. And here we are looking at one of the poorest cities in America, and yet every single person that you looked at look like they weighed 3, 4, and 500 pounds. How is that possible? That the poorest people in the United States, are these the people that are going hungry every day? That weigh 3 and 4 and 500 pounds? Because they have such a poor understanding of what good nutrition is. Just eat more and more and more and more. That's not it, folks. That's not it. People need to understand that in order to get healthy, we need to go through fasting, eliminate all of this excess fat that we're carrying around in our bodies. We're not living in those days anymore where food is a scarce commodity. We're just not. You know, the poorest among us can get food stamps and get all of the food that they need. You know? So realistically, it's too much food. That's what's killing us today. That's what's causing all the disease. That's what's causing the diabetes, the heart disease, the strokes, the cancer. All of these different issues that we're having, it's from eating way too much food, having too much insulin in our body. That insulin shuts down fat metabolism, and that's what causes so much of our health issues these days. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing people dying from these things. I can't help to think about the fact that after Angus Barbieri lost all of that weight, after fasting for a year and 17 days, becoming perfectly healthy, 180 pounds, hitting his target weight. And after that, so many doctors utilize that as a very effective means of treating obesity. But then what happened? In the 1970s, one person died from the treatment. And that's it. They cut it. No more. We're not doing this anymore. And what happened? We went on to utilize gastric bypass surgery. How many hundreds, if not thousands of people have died from gastric bypass? How many? I mean, it's a hell of a lot more than the number of people that die from abstaining from food. I gotta tell you, it's a lot more. It's a lot more. Because even those people, it's a form of caloric restriction. And it's been proven over and over again. Read the book by Dr. Jason Fung. It's been proven over and over again that caloric restriction does not put you into ketosis. Your body is still running off of glycogen. Your body is still running off of sugar. But because of that caloric restriction, you feel like you're starving to death. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. And they've done this over and over again. They've done many tests where the biggest losers, probably the biggest failed experiment that there is. There's never, if you take a look at the biggest loser, they've never had a reunion show. Why? Because their program does not work, folks. It simply doesn't work. Fasting, that works. Over and over again, people have tried it and it works. It resets your metabolism. It resets your appetite. It switches your body from burning primarily sugar for fuel to fat for fuel. And when you do that, the amount of health benefits that you get is just absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. You've got to get into it, folks. Till tomorrow, have a great one. Peace out.